Everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. I have some updates to share with you about Russia's attack, their war in Ukraine. First, some good news. Russia's warship was sunk. This is one of their major, the most important in their fleet. It was sunk off of the coast. Of course, Russia is saying that there was a fire and that's how it sunk. But the Ukrainian government is saying, no, we bombed it. We hit it with 2 different bombs and we sunk it. So that's good news. That will definitely help Ukraine to protect themselves, or I guess to lessen the attack against them by Russia. The bad news is that the rhetoric between the US and Russia is kind of ticking up. So Biden, you may have heard, called Russia's actions genocide, which I don't necessarily disagree with. But it's escalating tensions, and Putin has now said, we will fight. We will absolutely continue this war and continue to wage war until we can claim victory. He also then threatened direct conflict with the US, depending on what kind of assistance we give to Ukraine. Also, there is Russian intel out there saying that they purposely targeted civilians. Apparently, our government and other governments were able to intercept calls that proved that the Russian government purposely targeted civilians in multiple areas. I told you guys about some of it, what they found in certain cities. What they found also, Russia appears to be trying to cover up those crimes. They're apparently using a mobile crematorium to try to cremate bodies of dead Ukrainian civilians to cover up their slaughter of those civilians. They also, as you guys probably know, bombed a train station where they knew there would be civilians. There were over 50 casualties there. They also, according to the Mariupol mayor, have killed over 10,000 civilians in that one city along the coast. They're also being accused of kidnapping people, of torturing Ukrainian soldiers, of stealing things, stealing their homes, not Ukrainian soldiers, but actual civilians' homes. Also, they found a mayor of one of the cities that had disappeared. They found her and her husband and her son, who had all been executed. They were all shot in the back of the head. Unreal what they are doing. It's sickening. So I hate to say this is good news, but what we are hearing is that Russian troops are complaining more and more. So some of the people that they've brought in to help with this horrific war and their attack, they're bringing in people and they're giving them weapons that are literally ancient. They're saying that they don't have the right weaponry, they don't have the right bullets and so forth. There's also reports of the National Guard refusing to fight and refusing orders. Russian troops were also caught on video complaining. This was on, I believe it was TikTok, or it may have been Twitter, but it definitely went viral. They were complaining about them not having the proper gear, them not knowing what the hell they're supposed to be doing. Other Russian troops got sick from radiation from the Chernobyl site. They were digging trenches and they literally were poisoned by that. The bad news now is that lobbyists here in the US are actually fighting against the Congress. Congress is trying to enact laws that would make it easier for us to prevent Russian oligarchs from hiding their wealth. Well, US real estate lobbyists are stepping in and trying to thwart those efforts. So one more reason why we need to ban lobbying and lobbyists in this country. Then on the other end of the spectrum, I have to say, there was a video that went around that Russian troops were being abused and tortured and killed. Well, a Ukrainian journalist has now claimed to have found the charred remains of what appears to be those 3 Russian troops. As I said before, though, I wouldn't put it past Russia to make a fake video and kill their own soldiers to make Ukraine look bad. I don't know. I don't have any evidence of that, but that's just my thought. On the good news, again, I'm going to go back and forth here. On the good news, US has ended Russia's trade with the US. We've also ended our oil imports from the country. Biden also targeted Putin's daughters with sanctions and additional Russian banks. The Baltics have now cut off all Russian oil. However, Germany and the EU still can't. They're still kind of in a bind when it comes to that, at least for the time being. Germany and France also announced that they expelled Russian diplomats. I don't know what took them so long. Also, NATO announced that if Finland and Sweden wanted to join NATO, they could do so. So basically, Putin's excuse for invading Ukraine, I mean, what he told his people is that, oh, there's neo-Nazis. What he's telling the rest of the world is that he doesn't want them joining NATO. Well, so what he feared, he created. He didn't want other NATO countries along his border, and now there may be 2 additional ones. He is now threatening them. He's now saying that he will take action if these countries join NATO. I don't think they really give a damn, though. I mean, what's to stop him from attacking them anyway? He's now proven that he's a loose cannon, that he can't be trusted. So I think it's pretty much a done deal that those 2 countries are going to join. And they're saying that they're making a decision within like days or weeks. This isn't going to be some protracted decision. The other good news is that the EU has banned 21 additional Russian airlines from working within their country, or landing or taking off from their country. And then billions of dollars were seized from one of the Russian oligarchs. I've mentioned him before, Roman Abramovich. They believe that this was his money, and they seized literally billions of dollars. In addition, Germany has impounded a super yacht in Hamburg that they also believe belonged to another Russian oligarch. But, you know, the bad news is that the Russian ruble bounced back. They played some games, they manipulated the system. And so the ruble, you know, what dropped to like a stone to next to nothing is now back in the game. So we have to get our financial system under control. We have to stop with the corruption in our own country so that things like this will actually stick. What we're seeing is that the sanctions aren't actually hurting the country. All it's doing is turning the Russian people against the Western world. It's actually helping Putin's talking points. It's actually bolstering his narrative that, oh, see, the West just hates us. They just hate you. And so they're just trying to harm us. Will the truth get through to people over there? I don't know. People in Russia are putting their own lives on the line to try to get the truth out. They're being arrested, literally, for putting up signs in grocery stores next to items that people are buying that are putting the truth out there and saying no more war, or talking about their family members who have disappeared from Ukraine, or about Russian troops being killed. So people are trying, but we don't know if it's reaching the masses. And, you know, unfortunately, when it literally could cost you 10 years in prison or a death sentence, a lot of people aren't going to take that risk, especially if they have children, especially if they have family members that they're worried about. So we'll see. But, you know, good news, bad news. The other bad news is that there is now evidence that Russia, or someone, I should say, we believe it's Russia, that they are taking cyber action against our country, that they are trying to infiltrate systems in our country that would shut down a great deal of our country, especially with like production of products and goods and services. So they could do a lot of damage. And my question then is that a red line? You know, our government hasn't made it clear what the red lines would be. But Russia has said, if we attack them, if we launch a cyber attack against their country, that would be considered an act of war. So is the same true on our end? And here's one question that popped into my mind. Everybody has been saying that Putin doesn't look well physically, that he looks like he's sick. And it's true. If you look at photos of him from not that long ago, and you compare them to photos of him right now, his face is visibly puffy. His face is very large. Now, could he have put on weight? Yes, that's possible. But I've been around people at the end stages of their life, and they do tend to take on water. They do tend to get puffy and bloated. My concern is this: what if Putin is ill? What if Putin is dying? What if he knows he's dying? And his theory and his feeling is, fuck it. If I'm going to go out with a bang. I'm going to go out and take as many people as I can with me. What do I care? I'm dying anyway. What if that's what we're dealing with, guys? Somebody who has literally nothing to lose. That's my concern. So for all these people who say, oh, no, he wouldn't do that. He doesn't want to die. He's a narcissist. You know, he's not going to take that chance or that risk. If he knows he's only got a certain amount of time to live anyway, I don't know. Just my theory, just my thought. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.